This is the Renault Nissan case. So a little bit of background. The automotive industry is in the midst of a globalized transformation. Nissan is experiencing long-term unprofitability, and there's intense competition in the marketplace. And Nissan is seeking to leverage synergies. Renault has Europe and Latin America focus, and Nissan has Japan, North America, and Asia focus. Problems with both firms. So Nissan can't really offer value. Nissan is viewed as bureaucratic, and they have multiple layers of decision making. They have lax control and a weak performance culture. They have complex supply chain. They're operating at an excess capacity of 50%, and Renault lacked high productivity and quality. The initial alliance problems. So when they first aligned, both firms wanted to keep their identities separate. They didn't really want to integrate at all. And they were being run by separate management. They were operating at excess production capacity. They had slow product development. They had organizational and HR issues, so they had a seniority system in place that it was hard to move up in the company. They had a culture of blaming. They had a lack of motivation and reward system, and they had little incentive to adopt new ideas. How it was solved? So they combined cross-company resources and knowledge, so they created cross-company and cross-functional teams. That way they could share knowledge. They lowered their purchasing costs, they reduced their operating expenses. They created a sense of urgency around creativity. So before they really lacked creativity. Goes and listened to subject matter experts on how to change their culture. So he went around to the shop floors and asked them how they thought it could change. And they standardized the company language, which was operating on multiple continents. And they reestablished and recreated effective HR practices. And they based their reward systems on performance and just not seniority.
From this table, we can analyze the financial position of Nissan. ROA is an important indicator of the profitability and an overall financial position. From 2002 to 2007, it's an average of 5% of ROA, which is quite high for the size of the company. Another indicator of the solvency is the total asset and liability ratio, which is between 0.16 and 0.22, and it's an excellent figure that indicates the stability of Nissan. Another indicator of strong financial held by Nissan is the overall growth, and the revenue has an annual average of growth of 14%. The net income has an annual average growth of 14.40%, and the total asset has an annual average growth of 11.25%. These figures strongly support that Nissan was in a strong financial position. In the diagram which follows this slide, we can see that the net income of the both companies were very low before the alliance, and after 1999 they went up, but they fall in 2008 because of the inflation, the global inflation. So Nissan has been showing significant progress from 2002 and 2006, and they must differentiate the strategy in order for their longevity. The short-term gains have shown the instability of the market, and in order to maintain their promising outlook, they must realize their strength and focus their resources accordingly. This implies that they must focus on their product offering and their manufacturing capabilities. We have the SWOT analysis of Nissan, and one of the strengths is the global brand, and this strength provides opportunity of both firms, gives them the competitive benefit towards their rivals, and can prevent them from developing faster than them. They also have a significant presence in the major markets such US, Europe, Russia, and Asia. They also focus on the investment in the environmental friendly technology. And the alliance, it's a very strong, it's a big strength because the companies are now collaborating to build on new common platforms, on components and engines. And the strength of the alliance are the French innovation in concept stages and the Japanese dedication to process in manufacturing. The weaknesses. One of the weaknesses would be the cultural confliction, by unification and bringing the values and different visions of the manager and the management style. This can be challenging. They also have to record the losses which they had before the alliance. Another weakness will be the lack of the creativity and the renewal of the products. When the fuel prices went up, they didn't come up with competitive cars like the other competitors. And also they don't have the technology of diesel engines. And another weakness would be the international focus, only because they depend pretty much on the international markets and not on the at-home markets where their headquarters is. So the risk taken by the companies that depending on the markets of the foreign countries, they might face a decrease in the revenues because of the financial dealings with fluctuation of currency and maybe new policies of those countries, like political changes in the policies. Opportunities. The revival plan is to bring together the technical skills, the business experience, acquisition of new skills. They also can have the opportunity to launch of new vehicles, and especially for the hybrid vehicles, because there will be more demand of this type of cars because of the energy and fuel prices increase. Another opportunity would be to expand in the Asian and Middle East markets, especially where their headquarters here is. And finally, the threats would be the competition. They have competitors such Toyota, General Motors, Honda. Would be the emission standards, because the increased strict emission standards could result in additional costs for the product development, testing, and manufacturing operations of the Nissan. And also the last threat would be the economic inflation eventually slowing down.
The top competitors in the auto industry are General Motors, Toyota, Ford, and Hyundai. Toyota has become an even tougher competitor than before because they've partnered with a French automaking company, thus making more sales in Europe. And also, automakers are competing to win over customers by producing better quality vehicles for less. The consumer demand has kind of changed, and they are waiting to buy cars to get better quality vehicles. The market, the chart shows a breakdown of the market. It'll show GM obviously as the high competitor, holding a lot of the market. Also Hyundai, Ford. As you can see, Nissan holds only 4.8% of the market, and Renault only holds 3.6% of the global market. And in 2009, Nissan only held 16.6% of Japan's market, which is somewhat bad because that's their home market. They should be thriving. Also, most sales are done in Europe and North America, and the sales comprise about 65% of the global market. In 2005, Nissan depended on Europe for more than 70% of their sales and revenue. And it has been shown that attempts to venture into emerging markets such as Russia have been unproductive due to the high costs. For growth in technology, companies should look for growth through using different technologies in their cars. The consumer demand has changed, as we said before, and they are looking for environmentally friendly cars that are fuel efficient. So no more SUVs or Jeeps or Hummers, they're looking for hybrids. And lastly, the economy is a huge factor in all of these things mentioned. The decrease in demand in consumers, they're waiting to purchase cars until they get into a better financial position. Their change in demand isn't only the environment, but also because of high fuel prices. So due to this decrease in demand, manufacturers are now having an overload in inventory. And due to all of this, the government has assisted the companies in bailing them out because they have accumulated increasing debt because of all this overproduction.
Okay, recommendations. You can have GoSyn run one company exclusively, expand Renault to better match outside markets, and focus all energy and resources on Nissan alone. For GoSyn, you can bring in another CEO, someone who is similar to GoSyn, who has an open mind and another perspective to bring to the company. It's too difficult for one person to run two companies, and just because you're in an alliance doesn't mean you're the same company. Renault expansion, Renault is mainly focused on the European market, offering small compact cars with limited options. They tried to come to America, but they had a difficult time because Americans like big Jeeps and as many options as possible. Piece of technology, currently Renault has outdated car models and they have quality and productivity problems. Nissan, on the other hand, they're up to date with all their cars, and that's why they have a bigger share in the marketplace. Nissan, they accounted for 50% of the company's profit in 2004, and they're more globally known. They're available in most countries, and there's more options in the marketplace depending on what car you want or what options you want in that car.